time. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning, and we are officially a week from my birthday. So to all my birthday messages and all my kindness, all the actions and words that spoke louder than actions, thank you for the birthday kindness, and thank you for everything. I'm honored to be here with you as always. I'm honored to do what I love, and yeah, so I'm very, very grateful and very honored. So I don't really know what to say. Life throws you a lot of curveballs, and sometimes you hit them, sometimes you don't, sometimes you're not supposed to hit them, sometimes they hit you. So I am happy to be here. It's 21 years that I'll be broadcasting next month on November 16th. We're going to be celebrating, and I couldn't be more proud. If I can ask you to do one thing before we get started, I'll ask you to pray for Lily, as she has to go in for a procedure tomorrow, and I'm just hoping that everything works out and that she'll be okay, and that everything will be good with her. I'm going to start the show off with a prayer because I think I need one, and I know a lot of people that need one down in the South, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, I pray that you help to heal the families and everyone that was affected by any of the storms. I feel like once the storm's not in the news anymore, we forget about the destruction. And thank you that my loved ones are well and everybody's okay. Not everybody got good news. Not every family is feeling great right now. And it is really hard to rebuild. It is really hard to repair. So, I saw it with Hurricane Katrina, God, you know that. And it was unfathomable in certain ways. So I just pray for the health and safety and healing of everybody that needs it. I pray for the happiness of every single person, that we truly live life, that we are surrounded by people that actually care about us, and that we never have to do anything but be ourselves, and we never have to do anything but just show up. Life should be a lot simpler than we make it. I pray for clarity. I pray that you guide us toward what we're supposed to be around and guard us from what we're not. I ask you to be blatantly clear and honest with us, and for us to see the truth. And I just ask that we don't give up on good things because they don't come around twice. And yeah, I just pray for clarity and decision-making help, because for some odd reason, this world is afraid to do a lot of things and afraid to lead with its heart. And I feel like leading with your head is always going to lead you to a place where you overthink and you cause a lot of destruction. So, what do I know except for the fact that in 38 years, my heart's been right and my head's been wrong. So I pray for the best and I hope for the best. And I just hope that people find love and find the things that they're looking for. I'm really tired of seeing people hurting. So with that being said, I just pray for you for clarity, guidance, and guarding. I love you with everything I am. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So we're here this morning with Murph. And if you're having a tough day today, we're going to make you smile. If you're having a great day today, we're going to make you smile. That's what I'm here for. And I don't know why I get dragged through the coals, but I don't know. I'm just here to be here. So I love y'all dearly. I appreciate y'all and I respect y'all. And if you're a good person, keep being a good person. YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com is where you're with us around the country and the world. Murph is picture in picture with me. The World Series is going on. The Yankees are down 2-0. Yankees fans aren't liking it, and it's been a tough road for the Yankees. They're back home in the Bronx. They gotta win at least 2 to make this go anywhere, and so we'll see what happens at this point. And they got to win at least 1 to get to a game 5, I should say. But they gotta, if they want to even this series, they gotta win 2 and make that game at home something before they go back off to the West Coast, where they've obviously struggled. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into college football week 9. We'll get into NFL week 8. The Jaguars can't help themselves but lose. The Jets are doing the same thing. And we'll get into Sports Card Show and Tell, proudly presented by GG Cards and Breaks. So with that being said, Mr. Murphalation for the nation, how we doing?
We're doing good. Only me would roll over while I'm sleeping and look at my phone that says 8:57. So on a Monday morning, when I almost never set an alarm because I'm usually up already. I basically had to jump out of bed, throw some clothes on, and here we are.
Yeah. So, I mean, happy to have you here. Let's get right into it. The Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers in extra innings for some odd reason with two guys on base. Aaron Boone decided that he wanted to walk Mookie and make the bases loaded to go up against Freddie Freeman, who seemed to be feeling it in game one, seemed to be feeling it from his first at bat. And he hits a walk-off grand slam to secure a 6-3 victory. The game the next night was 4-2 in favor of the Dodgers. The Dodgers are up 2-0 on the Yankees, and the Yankees are going home to the Bronx. Thoughts so far?
The thought of walking Mookie Betts in that situation was just foolish. I get you want to be lefty on lefty, but Mookie Betts has never had a hit against Nestor Cortez in his career. I think it was 0 for 7, something like that. But Freddie Freeman is still a guy that you don't want to face. Left on left, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You got Shohei Ohtani on one pitch to pop out to third base. Then you walk Mookie Betts to load the bases. And now you're facing Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
And on one pitch, Nestor Cortez could not have thrown a more down the middle fastball. And Freddie Freeman just deposited it into right field.
Yeah.
And huge tip of the cap to Joe Davis for paying homage to Vin Scully's call of the Kirk Gibson home run to walk off game 1 of the 88 World Series. Literally one of the best home run calls I think I've ever heard, paying tribute to another call, which was really, really cool. As for the Yankees in general, Aaron Judge couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat right now.
Yeah.
That dude, I think, I'm not exaggerating here. I think that dude's allergic to the playoffs. He can hit 62, 58 home runs in the regular season. Then the postseason rolls around, and he turns into a pumpkin. Yeah. Giancarlo Stanton practically takes his place. Giancarlo Stanton is a very good hitter in the postseason, and he has been for most of his career. So, big tip of the cap to Giancarlo Stanton for doing what he's been able to do this postseason and in the postseason throughout his career. But you look at the rest of this team, Garrett Cole was okay in game 1, did pretty good, but they pull him out after 88 pitches. Yeah. Or 88, 89 pitches or something like that. Derek Jeter talked about it on the postgame show. He was cruising. He'd given up 1 run.
Yeah.
What were you pulling him out of the game for?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He's and we talked about this I think we talked a little bit about this last week. I can't stand Derek Jeter as an analyst, but he was 100% right in this situation. Why were you pulling Garrett Cole there? Yeah. He was dealing. The Dodgers couldn't touch him, and you get him out of there. Like, he should have thrown 110 pitches in this game, gone 7+. And then you go to your big guns. Even though the Yankees don't really have any big guns, but, that's besides the point. As for game 2, Carlos Rodon just did not have it. He didn't.
Yeah.
Dodgers were all over him. Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitched a gem. It's one of those things where the Dodgers just did what the Dodgers do. They outclassed the Yankees.
Yeah.
And as you know, I'm obviously rooting for the Dodgers in this series. Seeing the Yankees go down 2-0, this series is not going back to LA. It's not. The Yankees are either going to get swept or they're going to lose in 5. But it is not going back to LA. If those first 2 games are any indication, maybe the Yankees win game 3. Maybe they win game 4. Dodgers are going to have a bullpen game at some point. Maybe the Yankees win the bullpen game. But when Flaherty comes back for game 5, it's over.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now. It is. I mean, I said Dodgers in 5 before the series. I'm sticking to that. But boy, would it be fun to see the Yankees get swept. And I know you kind of root for the Yankees as your dad's a Yankees fan. And, you know, Yankees fans all over the country hate me right now. But I don't care. I'm sitting here as a Mets fan and can't wait to rub it in your face that you lost to the Dodgers in 4 or 5 games. And they'll say, oh, well, we went to the World Series and you didn't. Well, we lost to the same team. And we lost at 6, yet you lost in 4 or 5. So, therefore, we did better against the team that you lost to. We did better against the World Series champion. So, I can't wait to kind of use that argument against Yankee fans. That is why I'm rooting for it to only go 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the preseason, I predicted this. I predicted Yankees, Dodgers, and I predicted Yankees in 6. I mean, that was my preseason prediction. I'm sticking with it. Obviously, in the playoffs, when I did the bracket, some things changed, but I still had the Yankees winning it. And so, I'm going to stick to my preseason. I said Yankees in 6 over the Dodgers, and that's what I'm going to go with. I mean, that's where I see it. That's where I saw it. And, do I think it's going to be difficult? Absolutely. And there's a game tonight here on October 28th. The game is at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time. I've been sitting here thinking, why does every game start at 8 past the hour? And apparently it's because they can get in one more commercial break and they can do all the stuff in the beginning and all that stuff or whatever. So the Dodgers at the Yankees, it's game 3. The Yankees are down 2 games. They're down 0-2. And this is the 0-2 pitch, and we got to see if they can hit it. So let's see if the Yankees can figure this thing out against the Dodgers. It's going to be Bueller. It's going to be Bueller against Schmidt tonight, and that's the probable lineup as we step into this. The Yankees and the Dodgers will at least play tonight. They will at least play tomorrow night, and depending on what happens tonight, tomorrow night could be the game that the Yankees need to stay alive, or it could be the game they need to tie. And if there is going to be a game on Wednesday, that will also be in the Bronx, as the World Series is played with the higher seed, the better record, getting the first 2, than the team that has the not as good record as the number 1 team. So the Dodgers with the best record between the 2 of them, they get the first 2. The Yankees get the next 3, and then the Dodgers would get the next 2. So the Dodgers get 4, the Yankees get 3. The Yankees 3 are in a row. If they are to go to 3, that's how the series works. So the people wondering why were there 2 games in LA and now there's supposed to be 3 in the Bronx, that's how it's set up. So it gives the top team the chance to start and the chance to finish, and then it doesn't give the other team an opportunity to come back home. So that's what it looks like. That's how it stacks up. My thoughts on it, Murph gave his thoughts on it. my thoughts on this thing, Aaron Judge was trying like heck to hit a home run, and he was doing it from his first at-bat. He was swinging on the first pitch. He was swinging on the second pitch. He didn't look comfortable. The Yankees bats in general, from the jump in game 1, look like, they had happy bats. And what I mean by that is they were swinging at things. They were letting the game be dictated to them instead of dictating the game back to the pitcher. They weren't slowing down. They weren't being methodical. They were rushing. It looked like they wanted it so bad they were trying to force it to happen. And, that doesn't work in anything, folks. It doesn't work in relationships of any kind, and it doesn't work in baseball. When you try to force something, you have to let it come to you. And I don't think the Yankees let the pitches come to them outside of a few there. Obviously the one from Stanton in game 1. But, a lot of the time I feel like the Yankees were trying to force something to happen. I think Aaron Judge was showing that maybe arguably more than anybody, as it just seemed like he was swinging for the fences every single time and wasn't really just focused on getting on base. and you beat teams systematically and methodically. Yes, sometimes you can bang home runs. As somebody who has loved the Diamondbacks from day one, I know how strong their bats were in the postseason at the end of the regular season last year. So I know that sometimes you can just score in droves and take care of business. But, the methodical way, when they played against a team like the Rangers that really shortened their chances and just made that field seem really, really small, you have to be methodical and you have to hit to certain places and you have to know what to swing at, what not to swing at. And you have to play chess, not checkers. And you're not looking to get kinged every time. Sometimes you're just looking to move a space or two. And in games like this, with a team like the Dodgers that is playing very well on defense and playing very well with pitching, you have to be able to get on base. You have to look for singles and doubles and triples, and you have to find your spots and make moves. Jazz Chisholm, I mean, he's been stealing bases and doing things, and I commend him for that, especially when it's crunch time. But ultimately, the Dodgers are dictating this, and the Yankees are really just trying to force their way into this thing, and they're not letting the game come to them. So, hopefully they can relax, they can get their nerves down, and they can just let be what be and see what happens. I mean, that's the best thing I can say to you from what I've watched in sports for a long time and what I know about life is when you force it, it doesn't work. When you relax, it relaxes. And I feel like the Yankees got to relax. And I think Aaron Judge definitely has to relax and stop swinging at the first pitch and just let it be. So, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, Garrett Cole had a terrific game. I can't believe that they kept him in as long as they do in today's baseball when they take people out so early, and it pisses me off. But, I mean, to your point, he pitched a fantastic game, to Derek Jeter's point, and he shouldn't have come out. That man should have been there all the way through to the bitter end, and then you'd send in your closer to take care of business. I think Garrett Cole is one of the pitchers that has proven in today's baseball that he can last through the elements, and they didn't let him finish it off, and they paid for it. So, you got your ace out there, and he's giving them almost nothing. I don't know why you put anybody else out there. And so, to me, I think the Yankees made a mistake with pitching in the first game, and I think they've just really, really been chasing, and the Dodgers pitchers know that, so they're taking advantage of it. Pitching and defense is winning, and that's where we're at, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are playing a dangerous game right now. When you go out and play the other team's game, you play a very dangerous game because you're pretty much taking the power of what you can do away from yourself and giving it to the other team. Pretty much any coach of any sport at any level talks to their players on a regular basis about playing their game, not their opponents.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've ever seen the movie Coach Carter, there's a point in the movie where he's pointing out the fact that the guys are, they're playing the other team's game. And he tells them, listen, we make them play Richmond Oiler ball. We make them play our game. And the Yankees are not doing that. They are playing the Dodgers game, and they are falling right into that trap. The Dodgers are just so deep up and down their lineup, in their bullpen. We all knew they were going to be a difficult team to beat.
Yeah.
With Ohtani.
Yeah.
And the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that Ohtani did separate his shoulder at the end of game 2. He is still going to play, but I wonder how he's going to be swinging with a separated left shoulder.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works, because I think they popped it back into place. But he's probably going to have surgery on that at the end of the season. I don't know how that's going to affect his rehab for 2020 or his offseason going into 2025, because I imagine that's not something he's just going to be able to play through, because he's just going to dislocate it again.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Now, granted, it's his left arm, not his right, so it's not his throwing arm, but it is the arm that generates the power in his baseball swing. So that makes things a little bit trickier. But I'm looking forward to tonight, to seeing this game going back to the Bronx. If the Yankees don't win tonight, they are their backs are against the walls.
Yeah.
I mean, their backs are against the walls already, being down 2-0 coming back to New York. Because in a 7-game series, even in a 5-game series, if you're the road team in the first 2 games and you can steal 1 game, you steal home field advantage.
Yeah.
So basically what, the Mets did in the Philly series, basically what the Mets did in the Dodgers series, they came back to New York 1-1. So they took home field advantage back. The Yankees failed to do that. So they're coming back home down 2-0 in a hole where almost no team has ever really climbed out of. It's happened.
Yeah.
But it's not likely. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Dodgers are going to have a bullpen game tomorrow. Even if Walker Buehler throws well, now he hasn't really been giving them length this postseason. Don't be surprised if Walker Buehler's out by the 5th inning, because he has not been very efficient this postseason. So he's not giving them length at all. But the Dodgers bullpen has a ton of depth. They have a ton of guys that can eat innings.
Yeah.
Brent Honeywell Jr. is the guy that did that very efficiently in the Mets series. Would not be shocked to see him and his screwball doing that against the Yankees. But I do firmly believe I could see the Yankees getting one. The one I see them getting is tomorrow. I don't see them winning tonight. I could see them winning game 4 and forcing a game 5 against the bullpen.
Yeah.
But I do not see this series going back to LA. The Dodgers are just in complete control. They are clicking on all cylinders. They are doing everything they want to do. I mean, at this point, why change it? Walker Buehler's been good. He's a free agent after the year, so maybe, some team signs him on a 1-year prove-it deal since he's recovering. He's still, in his first year back from Tommy John surgery. But I'm interested to see how the Yankees respond coming home, because we all know that Yankee fans are some of the most passionate fans in sports. They're also some of the most annoying fans in sports.
Yeah.
But they are definitely some of the most passionate fans in sports. And Yankees fans at the games in the World Series, I imagine, will be crazy. The bleacher creatures out hold on, let me say that right. The bleacher creatures out in right field at Yankee Stadium are going to be alive and well. They always are. They'll do their roll call at the beginning of every game. And the one issue I have with Yankee fans is that they boo their players when they do something bad. I would not be shocked if Clark Schmidt has a rough outing and gets booed off the field. That is the one thing that I despise about sports fans, is when you boo your own players.
Yeah.
And I've been in that situation in a Mets game before where they're starting to boo our own player, and I'm like, stop. Like, you want him to play well, you let him go, and you give him a standing ovation the next day.
Yeah.
It worked for Trey Turner in Philly. It worked for Francisco Lindor this year. It worked for Pete Alonso this year. Hell, they gave Francisco Alvarez a standing ovation in his first at-bat in Game 4, I believe, against the Dodgers. And then he comes out and had 2 hits, had 3 hits the next night. These players are human.
Yeah.
When you boo them, it doesn't feel good. If you should be booing anybody, you should be booing the manager. Or booing the other team. Right? We were booing Bryce Harper. We were booing Shohei Ohtani. We were booing Freddie Freeman. Because they're on the other team.
Yeah.
Those players understand that when they're in a hostile environment, they'll probably get booed. But when you're in your own home stadium and you're getting booed by your own fans, I can't imagine that feels good. Yeah. As a former athlete, now obviously there were, you didn't have a whole lot of, there weren't exactly a ton of people at Notre Dame or Marywood baseball games. And, but basketball games, we had a decent amount of people. And You never get booed at those games as a player in at that level. But when you get to the major league level, you're getting booed by your own fans. That just can't feel good.
No.
As an athlete, as a human being, it's just not okay. And Yankee fans are notorious for that. They booed Stanton really bad when he first came to the Yankees because he struggled. He was striking out every other at bat, essentially. So we'll see what happens, and the fans are going to dictate a lot of what happens in the rest of in these next couple of games. If the Yankees go down early and start to get booed by their own fans, they're going to get swept. I can tell you that right now. They're going to get swept, and they are going to call for Aaron Boone's head. And to be honest, Aaron Boone should have been fired 3 years ago. This team is not where they are because of Aaron Boone. They are where they are in spite of Aaron Boone. The players got them there. Aaron Boone's horrible management of their bullpen, horrible management of the lineup. I mean, Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman are doing anything they can to win a championship here.
Yeah.
They went and got Juan Soto in the offseason. They went and got Jazz Chisholm at the trade deadline. They signed Garrett Cole a couple of years ago. They brought in Carlos Rodon. And look where you are. You think Joe Torre helped was the reason the Yankees won all those World Series in the 90s? No. But was he a good manager? Sure. He wasn't a great manager, but he won 4 World Series with the Yankees. Right? He had never been to the World Series until he got to the Yankees. Decent manager, but they had great players. Probably the first one in 96, he definitely helped them too. Because their bullpen was really strong because Mariano Rivera wasn't even their closer yet in 96. It was John Wetland. Mariano Rivera would typically throw the 7th and 8th, and then Wetland would pitch the 9th. So Joe Torre's job was easy. But Aaron Boone just doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. He hasn't for years. And he's pulling his starters after 88 pitches and, bringing in the wrong guys, walking Mookie Betts to pitch to Freddie Freeman, of all people. History was on the Dodgers side. Because the last time a hobbled player, a hobbled left-handed hitter, came up in that situation, maybe not bases loaded, but came up in that situation in Game 1 of the World Series at home, they had a walk-off home run. I just wish Freddie Freeman would have done the Kirk Gibson running around second base.
I mean, I'll say this. I think Joe Torre is a fantastic manager. I think Joe Torre is the difference in Yankees history in a lot of ways with a lot of things. I think Aaron Boone has been on a team that's given some hope. Do I think he made the best decision in Game 1? No. I think people make mistakes. And
he's made a lot of them, though.
Do I think the Yankees are... Do I think their fans can be rowdy? Yes. Do I think they're worse than Philadelphia?
No.
I mean, my Arizona Diamondback fans are super nice. Like, they, lose Game 3 of the World Series, and they were still cheering for the Diamondbacks.
Can we both agree that in baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies have the worst fans in base? Actually, in every sport, Philadelphia sports fans are the worst.
I think
they are the worst.
I think Philadelphia just there's a lot of
Philadelphia in general is terrible.
There's a lot of anger. I appreciate all of my great moments and time in Philadelphia and people that I know from the area and their goodness. And I joke with them. I go, it's kind of the city of brotherly hate. I feel like there's a lot of hate, but what I can say about the Yankees is I respectfully disagree about Torre, and I do think that their fans can get rowdy. I think anybody who lives in New York City on top of each other in a shoebox that they have to pay $2,000 a month for is going to be pretty mad. So like, I mean, I think a lot of, I mean, I've been down in New York City the last 2 weeks. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of ambulances. There's a lot of things that I like about the city, and there's a lot of things that make me scratch my head why anybody would live there. So, I mean, if you live on the outskirts, I've been to what, Brooklyn, whatever it is, Bronxville, and I mean, there's certain things that, like, I'm fine in the city. I walk around the city, and like, the more I did it, the more I kind of felt natural to me. So, like, I'm just kind of like, you put me anywhere, and I can figure it out. I mean, that's I look up at God. I say, all right, let's walk these streets together. He says always, and that's what we do. So, I mean, I think that the fans are rowdy. Yes, I think they're passionate. Of course, they've been. This is their 41st World Series. They've won 27 of them, and they got a record.
Let's keep it that way.
They got a record of 8-3 against the Dodgers all time. So dating back to the way, way, way back. And so, I mean, listen, do I give up on the Yankees in this? No. Do I think that they got to score and they got to dictate and they have to take control? I mean, they have to take control of the game. They have to dictate the game. Their fans have to be involved in a positive way. They have to let go of anything that happened. Pretend like LA didn't happen. What do they say? Leave your past in the past. And this goes for games. This goes for relationships. This goes for any of that. Somebody hurt you in the past, it doesn't matter in the present because it's going to beat you twice. You lost game 1, game 2, doesn't matter. If you think about it, you're going to lose game 3. I mean, if I've learned anything about my life and anything of any advice I can give to anybody, you can't live in the past when it comes to dating. You can't live in the past when it comes to friendship. You can't live in the past when it comes to business. You can't live in the past when it comes to a game. You can't live in the past when it comes to your last at bat. You can't live in the past when it comes to your last shot. If you live in, something bad happened to me in the past, I can promise you, you are going to miss out on everything in the present. You're going to screw up all of that. And that's the real. If you live in the past, you will die in the past. And that's the real on that. You got to let it go. You got to let it be. If something was good in the past, okay, it happened. It was good. Great. If something was crappy, it happened. Okay, great. This Yankees team, they got to play free. They got to play without worry. I will tell you this. I will tell you this in life. Sports, why do I say the wake-up call is where sports meets life? Because life parallels sports and sports parallels life. And I'm going to say this to the Yankees. It's something that I learned last week. If you worry about something and it doesn't work out, you wasted your time. If you worry about something and it does work out, you wasted your time. So they can't worry. They got to play free. They cannot play like a team that's down 0-2. They can't play like a team that hasn't been able to hit the ball and hasn't been able to this and that. They have to play like the team that they know they are. They have to say, okay, listen, we went toe-to-toe with the Orioles all year long. We won the division. We went through all this stuff. We were able to get through these teams. We were able to navigate times where we struggled. We navigated not having Garrett Cole. If you could find a way to do everything they did to get to where they are today, to win almost 100 games in the regular season, then it doesn't matter who the big bad wolf is, and it doesn't matter who's trying to blow your house down. And what matters is you. And people forget that. Happiness does not come from outside, it comes from inside. Strength does not come from outside, it comes from inside. The ability to handle something doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside. You have to make decisions in your life to be able to stand up against the thing that is in front of you. And win, lose, or draw, you got to give it all you got. And the Yankees right now have not been playing their game. It's time that they play their game, because this is what I've said, and I've said it forever. If I'm going to lose something, let me lose being 100% me, giving everything I got. Because then if I lose as Dan Tortora, and I kind of like him. So that's how I feel about the Yankees. If you're going to lose, go for broke. Do what you do. Be who you are. Scheme how you scheme. Play how you play. Because when people try to beat somebody by playing their game, like you said, they lose. And it made me think of the New England Patriots. Every time people got to the Patriots in the playoffs, they tried to beat the Patriots at the Patriots game instead of just playing their game. And I think a lot of teams, if they just played the way that they play, there's a lot of teams that I think would have beaten the Patriots if they had just been themselves instead of playing all season as themselves and then playing the Patriots as the B team of the Patriots. You're not going to beat the Patriots at their own game. That's just reality. And the Yankees aren't going to beat the Dodgers at the Dodgers game. The Yankees are going to beat the Dodgers by doing what they've done to get to almost 100 wins. That bullpen has shown that it's more than Garrett Cole. The offense has shown that it's more than Aaron Judge. And you brought in all these pieces. You got a lineup. Everybody talks about, the Dodgers lineup is so insane. It's so crazy. Oh, my gosh, Freddie Freeman. And you got Mookie Betts. You got this guy and that guy. And okay, you got Shohei Ohtani. And I turn around and say, okay. And the other guy, and the other side's got Giancarlo Stanton and Jazz Chisholm and Aaron Judge. And, and Juan Soto. I mean, for goodness sakes, I go through the Yankees lineup. I'm sitting there in game one going, that's a tough hitter. 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 So play like who you are. And be who you are. And if you don't win, go down as being the best you that you can be. I know the Yankees are better than this. I know you hate them. But let's be real about this. Y'all are better than you play right now. Show me what you got. I don't want to see a scared Yankee. I don't want to see a Yankee that doesn't know. I don't want to see a Yankee that's like overly trying to get after it to the point where they're just like freaking out, swinging at every pitch. Just be who you are and do what you do. You got pitching coaches that brought you this far. You got a manager that brought you this far. You got bats that brought you this far. You got pitching that brought you this far. You got defense that brought you this far. Act like it. These are the 2 number 1 seeds. Don't act a fool. Yeah, the Dodgers are hard to play. Yeah, they're the big bad wolf. And my Arizona Diamondbacks were told that they weren't going to win one damn game against the Dodgers, and they swept them. Well, you can't beat the Dodgers. You can never beat the Dodgers. And what did they do? They went up against the Dodgers. They played their game, and they smacked the Dodgers. They sent them home 4-0. Go pound salt. That's what they, or whatever it was, 3-0. They
3-0, yeah.
sent them home in the 5-game series and said, whatever, bro. Do you, boo. So, I mean, that's how I feel about this. I don't know if the Yankees are going to beat the Dodgers, and I don't know if the Dodgers are going to beat the Yankees. But I can tell you right now that the one thing I don't want to see in this World Series is the Yankees beat the Yankees.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as of the first 2 games, they have done it themselves. They have done it to themselves. If they want any chance of coming back in this series, they've got to play their own game. Like we said. If they continue to play the Dodgers game, it is going to be a short series.
Yeah.
And the only parade in the Canyon of Heroes this year will be for the New York Liberty. Who, let's be honest, there weren't a heck of a lot of people at that parade. The Yankees want their parade in the Canyon of Heroes. And unless they figure out how to play their own game again, it's not going to happen. Yeah. And the Dodgers will be partying in the streets of LA. Again. As we would have expected of this team at the beginning of this year. And they probably still will. But Yankees fans will not be satisfied unless they win the World Series. And you got to win 4 out of 6. You got to win 4 out of the next 6 games here. 4 out of the next 5 games here.
Yeah.
So you are in big trouble if you do not win at least 2 games in New York. I think their only chance of winning this series is if they go back to LA up 3-2. That's their only chance. If they go back to LA down 3-2, forget it. They will be in big trouble. Big trouble. Because LA is not a place that you want to go back to down 3-2.
Yeah.
Because while Dodgers fans aren't crazy rowdy, they don't have to be because their team is so good that they just feed off the energy of the crowd. And the crowd energy is usually fairly good in LA.
Yeah.
So they'll feed off the crowd. They'll bury you before you know it. I mean, they did it to the Mets 4 times in that series. I mean, we got blown out 4 different games, essentially. And it's what sucks about that series is it was all blowouts. Like the games were terrible in that series. So the only way to beat the Dodgers is to pitch it. Like you've got to pitch it and you got to score 5+ runs. If you don't do that, because that is the formula to beat the Dodgers, as we've seen last year with the Diamondbacks, this year in the 2 games the Mets won in the NLCS, even with the Padres. You score 5 or more runs,
Yeah.
and you pitch it well, you will beat the Dodgers. If you do not do that, the Dodgers will probably blow you out. If you don't prevent the Dodgers from scoring 5 runs or less, you're done. If the Dodgers put up 5 runs tonight, this series is over. If the Yankees go down 3-0, they are done. There is no way that they will force that series back to LA if they go down 3-0. Has it been done before? Yes. Yankees fans would know better than anybody else that the Red Sox came back from 3 games to none down to beat them. However, I don't think this year's Yankees team is built to do that, and the Dodgers are not going to allow that. Like you said, the Dodgers are the big bad wolf. They're the team everybody's been chasing all year. They're the best team in baseball by far. We knew that.
Yeah.
And they're showing why. They're showing why they've been the best team in baseball for 5 or 6 years running. They'll get their legit ring. At this point, it's going to happen. They have flat out outclassed the Yankees in the first 2 games of this series. I know the Yankees led the entirety of game 1 until Freddie Freeman stepped to the plate. However, the way the Dodgers play baseball, they play chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
They are waiting for their pitch. They are an incredibly patient team at the plate. And their pitchers are efficient, mostly. The Yankees, if they do not win tonight, maybe they win game 4 because it's a bullpen game for the Dodgers. But when Flaherty comes back in game 5, that's not going to be good for them. It is not. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't see it going back to LA. I think the Dodgers ended in New York. Just a matter of whether they sweep them or whether it's 5 games.
Well, we shall see. A team has never come back from down 3-0 in the NBA. It's happened in the NHL 4 times, and it happened 1 time in Major League Baseball history, which was in the 2004 ALCS that Murph talked about with the Red Sox and the Yankees. So almost never does it.
It's happened 4 times in the NHL?
4 times in the NHL.
Now, is that with those teams coming back to win or just forcing a game 7?
Coming down from 3. Let me see here. It's coming down from 3-0.
Because last year in the Stanley Cup Finals,
to win the series, it's happened 5 times. 4 in the NHL, once in MLB.
Yeah, because I remember last year in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Oilers were down 3-0 against the Panthers, and they came back and forced a game 7, but they lost.
Yeah, this is that they won the series. So
okay,
4 times in the NHL.
That's still crazy that it's happened 4 times in the NHL.
4 in the NHL, once in MLB, never in the NBA. We will take a step aside for a fast break. Yankees, Dodgers, tonight at Boom Like an 808. There's a song about that. I don't know why. I don't know what it means. But 808 tonight, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, October 28th, the Yankees will be hosting the Dodgers for the first time in the World Series this time. Not the first time ever, many times, but it's the first time in this series of 2024 that the Yankees are home in the World Series. They are home today. They are home tomorrow. And if they do what they need to do, they will be home on Wednesday as well. And we will continue to cover that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're going to take a step aside. In hour number 2, we're going to talk about college foosball and what we think about what's going on in the world of college football. The Syracuse Orange. Oh boy. And we'll talk about that. The NFL. We'll get into that as well. And GG Cards and Breaks, Sports Card Show and Tell. All comes up right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Be nice to each other. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality, and I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really in large part changed that value system for employees, so they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're gonna be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever gonna have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and happy to be back in the studios with you as we've been traveling a lot. So happy to be here. There's so much coming up, folks. So much. Let me just put it. Let me put it into just the brass tacks of it for you. So 26 interviews with the Big East. Tried to get to every team I possibly could in the time that we had. Spoke to 9 of the 11 women's basketball teams, 9 of 11 of the men's basketball teams. Went to the ACC in Charlotte. Spoke with all 16 of the men's team. Spoke with 17 of the 18 because Miami was not able to make it due to the hurricane. So 17 there times all the people that were there. So I'm going to say 17 times 2 is what? 34 plus. Okay. So let's call that 41 interviews plus the 26. So that's what? 67. And then you add in the American Athletic. What did I speak with? 12 teams on the women's side, 12 teams on the men's side, and multiply that by all the people that were in it. So that's 20. That's 48. So yeah, somewhere around 90 interviews in the last 2 weeks. So that's what you have coming your way. We've done a lot with the ACC. There's more coming. The American, all of it's coming. And the Big East, you got it all. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun. Meeting new people, talking to people I've known for a while. Tony Bennett retiring. The crazy thing about Tony Bennett retiring is that I asked Tony Bennett in Charlotte at the ACC tip-off, I said, you're somebody who builds teams. You build over time. So do you think in today's collegiate climate, you can build, grow, and develop a team the way that you want to? And then when he decides to retire, what did he say? That, the way that things are right now are not really. So it was like the question that I asked was a question that apparently was on his mind. And now I'm sad because college lost another great coach because
You made him retire, Dan.
not probably. So
I'm just kidding.
I know. Hey, but it's crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's another coach, another awesome, amazing developer of young men is not coaching anymore because the NCAA has no fence around the horses. Again,
It's become too professional.
right, and
It just has.
And it's like you lose Roy Williams, you lose Coach K, you lose Jim Boeheim, you lose Jay Wright, you lose Tony Bennett, you lose Nick Saban, you lose Randy Edsall, who's been all around the block, and he's a good friend of mine. He stepped away because he saw this thing coming on the horizon before it got here. So, in the early parts of it. So, this is just crazy. This is just
know,
crazy.
and what's funny is we were on the phone talking about about what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett, thank you.
Yeah.
Talking about Tony Bennett's retirement shortly after it happened, and you even said that to me on the phone that you would ask him that question. That was That was definitely interesting. It was bizarre when I first heard about that for sure. But what we've seen so far in college football in the NIL age,
Yeah,
is that, and it's Nick Saban has talked about it since he retired. You're no longer developing men.
Yeah.
Or women in women's sports case. You're developing players. You're not even you're not even necessarily trying to prepare them for the next level. You're just trying to win right now.
Yeah.
Doing everything you can to win a championship. And almost don't even care about how these guys develop. Look at some of the players that have come into the NFL or come into, the NBA in the last couple of years since NIL has dawned.
Yeah.
You're not really seeing these guys being ready for the NFL.
No.
Nobody is stepping in and being ready. Now, there's some, maybe some of the defensive players and everything, like Jaden Daniels has looked really good. CJ Stroud came out last year and balled. But you look at a guy like Caleb Williams. You look at a guy like Anthony Richardson. They weren't ready for pro ball. They weren't. Richardson is, and it kills me because I got some decent amount of money invested in his cards. Anthony Richardson does not look like he is ready to be an NFL quarterback. And it kills me to say it as a Florida Gator fan. He does not understand how to read a defense.
Yeah.
He's not running the ball like he was. I think it's because he doesn't want to hurt himself. But he's not throwing the ball well. It's bad. Now, Caleb Williams has kind of gotten better over the last couple of weeks. But when he first came out, he was not ready for the NFL. The Bears have had to develop him as a man.
Yeah.
Because when he came into the league, he was a child. A literal child. And if anyone disagrees with that with Caleb Williams, I don't know what to tell you. Caleb Williams was a child. He acted like a child. He talked like a child. He presented himself like a child. He seems as though he's grown up a little bit since he's been in the NFL now. So I'll give him credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony Richardson checked himself out of the game because he was out of breath. That almost sounds like he quit on his team. Which is a cardinal sin in sports. You don't do that. Now, if he genuinely couldn't catch his breath, okay, that's fine. But call a timeout. Don't go to the sideline and check yourself out of the play. But whatever it is, those two guys are proof that NIL is, it's the biggest issue with paying college athletes. I mean, I think we've had this conversation before, and I think we have a lot of common ground here. The biggest issue with paying college athletes for their name, image, and likeness. Certain ones will get a ton of money, naturally.
Yeah.
Now, I absolutely think that players should be able to make money on themselves when they're at college. But you shouldn't be able to take these legit endorsement deals. Schools shouldn't be able to recruit somebody based on NIL opportunities. My biggest issue with NIL, if any of you have ever seen the YouTuber Destroying or the golf YouTuber GM Golf, Garrett Clark, both of them had successful YouTube channels going into college. They were making money off their YouTube channels. They were told by the NCAA, either stop making money off yourself or you're not allowed to play anymore. Both of them chose to stick with YouTube. It has worked out in their favor. Yeah. Good for them. Mm-hmm. Garrett Clark is now a founding member of Good, one of the biggest golf YouTube channels on the planet. Destroying has been putting up NFL football content and tons of content for years. So good for them. But you've got these situations where players are being recruited based on NIL opportunities. That's not okay. You need, as a recruit, you need to go somewhere that will help, A, grow you as a person, grow you as a man, in most like football and basketball cases. Yeah. Give you a good education, which I think these players forget about. Mm-hmm. Because part of the time, half the time these players aren't finishing school anyway. They're not going to college to get their degree. They're going to college to play sports. But the players that think about their education first is huge. I mean, that's big. I mean, look at a guy like Andrew Luck. He went to Stanford. Stanford may not be an Ivy League school, but it might as well be. One of the hardest schools to get in the world. One of the most respected academic institutions in the world. Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. Right? There are players in the NFL or in the NBA that went to Ivy League schools. Incredibly intelligent human beings. You can't get in those schools unless you're intelligent. So ultimately, the players that think like that and NIL opportunities are on the back burner, good for them. Honestly. Yeah. But these players should not be getting offered millions of dollars just so that they can go to this school and get an NIL deal. They shouldn't be going and saying, hey, I'm getting offered this much in NIL from the University of Georgia, Nick Saban in Alabama. What can you do to match that or beat it? Like, this isn't professional. This is not professional sports. This is college athletics. Yeah. This could be a fake stat, but like 99% of players in every sport that play college sports do not play professionally. It's the top 1%. Realistically, all the players that I watched play at Marywood, every sport, as far as I know, not one of them is playing professionally. There's a couple that had a chance. Yeah. But when you go to play college sports, especially at lower levels, FCS, Division II, Division III, junior college, NAIA, you go play sports because it's what you love to do. I knew I had no shot at playing baseball or golf professionally. I wanted to play because I still love the game. And Marywood gave me the privilege of being able to play 2 more years of baseball and 2 more years of golf at a collegiate level that I wouldn't have had at East Stroudsburg had I gone there. Maybe at the Sales, but I don't think I ever would have played golf there. But regardless, these players should be playing because they love to play. The top 1%, you'll get your money. You'll go to the pros and get your money. But if you're going to college just to get your NIL deal, you are going to play college sports for all the wrong reasons. There's not a lot of sports that have the huge NIL deals the way football and basketball do. Now, the one that does, as we've seen, women's gymnastics, it's basically Livy Dunn. That's the reason why you're seeing all the exposure for women's gymnastics. And that's great. She didn't go to LSU for the NIL. The NIL came to her. That's the way it should be. If you play well, NIL deals will come to you. Don't go looking for them. The money will come to you. You don't have to worry about that. Look at Arch Manning at Texas. That kid has a couple of NIL deals, but he's not touching that money. Yeah. He didn't go to Texas for the NIL deals. He went to Texas because it gave him the best opportunity to win and develop into the player that he thinks he could be in the NFL.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Now, does it help? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when you look at this stuff, I mean, Dominique Rhodes, who won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. So, connection to Arch. But Dominique Rhodes told me a long time ago, we were standing outside of a stadium. He had won a Super Bowl with the Colts, and he was now playing for the United Football League, which exists again. And this was back in its other iteration. He was playing for the Florida Tuskers. We were in the parking lot. I said, Dominique, I don't understand. I'm doing things the right way. I'm being a good man. I have morals and values. I believe in God. I'm working hard. I don't understand why it's not working out the way I want it to. Dominique Rhodes said something to me, and it fits with NIL, and it fits with anything right now. He said this to me almost 15 years ago. He said, if you chase money, you'll chase it forever. If you chase your dreams, money will chase you and eventually will catch up to you. And that's reality. You know, people that chase money, it's never enough. You know, you look at people that chase things like money. The girl they're with is never hot enough. The guy they're with is never handsome enough. The money they have is never good enough. The car is never expensive enough. The house is never big enough. But when you chase dreams and you chase aspirations and you go after things that really make you feel like you're like giving back to the world, those are the things where you go to bed and appreciate it. Can I tell you exactly how much money I've made every year in my company? No. I know it's been enough. I know I've been able to pay my bills and go on vacation and do nice things. And I mean, do I care? I tell people all the time, I care about money to pay my bills, to take care of Lily, to be a father and a husband someday. Outside of that, I don't give a hoot about money. And, you know, I saw this coming, and I talked about it in 2020, and I still think COVID was an opportunity to just unleash a bunch of things on the world that people weren't paying as much attention to. Because if life was normal during COVID, I don't think a lot of things would have happened. And people have to keep in mind that California was pushing this NIL during COVID. And there was no parameters. There's little to no parameters now. I don't care what they say. I mean, there's really no parameters. Nobody's getting in trouble for anything. And I look at this and I saw it coming. I saw what this was going to do to sports. And people that are sitting here today saying, oh my gosh, it's a travesty. I can't believe it. And who would have thought? And I'm sitting here going, who wouldn't have thought? If you have a brain, eyes, ears, I mean, the reality of it all is Stevie Wonder saw this coming. And I mean, it doesn't, and I mean no disrespect to him in that. I'm saying, like, you can feel it, you could sense it. And I mean, all you have to do is pay attention. And the reality is that this was set up to fail. It was set up to ruin. There are bigger things happening in America that are ruining the lives of children and not allowing them to be children. NIL and the transfer portal is ruining the lives of young adults and not allowing them to be young adults. What we are doing in society is we are creating people in a me-centric world that are desensitized to each other, desensitized to problems and pain, that are only focused on their own gain, that are only seeking to help themselves, with no morals, no value, and no God and no structure. It is happening at a young age in school. It is happening at a teenager to 20s in college. All we are doing in today's society is eroding the future. And the way you erode the future is you bring it up different. You make the kids today think that their parents were crazy for working for their money, for being on a team, for trying to do
Sense of entitlement.
Right. I mean, but I mean, this is a systematic cultural change. When people say, why is America so messed up today? It's not messed up today. It was getting messed up a little bit at a time. You chip away. And all you do is you chip away. When people say, how does a good relationship go bad? You just chip away, right? You fight each other, but you love each other, right? Little chip. Then you fight each other, and now you start calling each other names. Another chip. Then you fight each other, and it starts becoming more consistent. Now the first time, it's the second time, it's the 100th time. And after a while, there ain't nothing left to your statue, and you're sitting there going, well, how did we just become bad? We had such a great relationship. You didn't become bad. You have been bad over a long period of time. And everything, everybody gets a trophy. Let's give money to these kids. Let's take away all these rules. Let's take away the parameters. Let kids run away from competition. Let them run away from responsibility. Let them run away from their school. Let them run away from academics. Let them run away from mistakes. All you've done, and I'm not saying the transfer portal can't exist and NIL can't exist with parameters. I'm not saying that. I've never said it. I've actually said the opposite. It can exist with parameters. But what I'm saying is, if you're wondering why the sports world looks too much like the real world and it looks dirty, it's because you let the real world seep into the lives of children. You let these things happen. The NCAA let it happen. California state law let it happen. People want to ask, how did we get here? We got here because one wave became a second wave, became a bigger wave, and then that wave met this wave, and then this boat went by, and it hit this wave, and this wave combined with this wave. And now we're like, why is there a tidal wave? It came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. The tidal wave was compounded of a bunch of different shifts that were happening in the water. That's what it is. Oh my gosh, how'd the earthquake happen? Because there's tectonic plates that are moving. I mean, if you want to know why college athletics is not college athletics anymore, it's because in 2020, when the world stopped and people weren't paying full attention, California, its state law took advantage of it. The NCAA did nothing to stop it. And this is why we are where we are. This is why it is not amateurism. This is why there's no focus on school. In certain places. There is in other places. But this is why we are where we are. This is why coaches are leaving. Jay Wright won 2 championships in a decade, and he retired at 61 years old. Tony Bennett is the best coach in Virginia history and brought them their only championship, and he retired at 55 years old. People want Nick Saban should have been on the sidelines for the rest of his life, or maybe until he was 70 something years old or whatever. But he's done. And Dabo Swinney gets scrutinized for the fact that he wants to develop young kids out of high school and prep school, and he doesn't want to do it out of the portal. And they're like, well, look at, he can't win. Really? Really? Dabo can't win? He can't win. Then why is Clemson 6-1? Why, since losing in week 1 to Georgia by 31 points, have they blown out most of the teams they've played, and they've beaten every team they've played by double digits? They're in the top 11 in the AP. For some reason, they're 3 spots lower than the coaches poll. They're 8. Dabo believes in God, faith, and family. Dabo believes that you're supposed to mold young men and not just play football. Dabo believes you're supposed to develop and give people opportunities and not just steal other people's kids. And he was told, you can't win that way, you washed up coach. Well, he's 6-1, honey, and he's going to a bowl game somewhere. So society is where it is right now because we let it deteriorate. We let it happen. Anybody that goes out in the streets and complains about America, do something about it. We let this happen to sports. We let kids not be kids anymore. An 18-year-old, I'm sorry, is not a business person that knows the ins and out of everything and is going to know what to do with $1 million when he came from a place where he had 27 cents. And if he's got an agent, it's going to be worse. That's reality. I don't understand why anybody woke up this morning saying, why are we here? Because you let it happen. And I'm not saying to my listeners, I know you're not the NCAA, but I'm saying this happened over a long period of time. It happened it was a systematic step. Nothing bad or good happens quickly. It happens over a long period of time. If something good happens in life, those relationships build over time. They can't just happen in a short window. And when something shitty happens and it breaks something down, it has to happen over a long period of time. Buildings don't fall without the pieces of the buildings falling. And these pieces have been chipping off for years, and we've just been sitting here hoping that it doesn't happen. Let me tell you something. Hope on a couch might as well be negativity on the streets. Because hope on a couch doesn't solve anything. Prayer without action doesn't solve anything. Word without deed doesn't solve anything. You want the future of America to be better? Raise it. We'll take a step aside. We'll be back after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Wk9 Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Wk9 Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call K9 Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Campground.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Really quick here, just kind of jumping into this for a second. We'll talk more about Syracuse this week, but they had an awful game against Pittsburgh. And the Syracuse Orange did not look good at all. They've beaten 2 top 25 teams. They didn't beat the third. And we woke up this morning, Oregon and Georgia are 1-2. Penn State is 3. Ohio State is 4. Miami is 5. Texas is 6. Tennessee is 7. And then it gets different. Notre Dame is 8. BYU 9. Texas A&M 10 in the AP. In the coaches poll, it's Clemson, Notre Dame, and Iowa State. So we're seeing some changes here and some differences. Alabama is 14. Vanderbilt barely lost to Texas by 1 possession, and they got dropped from the polls. That's confusing to me. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And Colorado is in the polls now. They're 6-2. They are in the AP. They're just outside of the coaches poll. Pitt went up 3 spots in the coaches poll, went up 1 spot in the AP. So even though Syracuse isn't considered a good team this season, Pittsburgh moved up for beating them, so figure that out. And yeah, so this is where we're at. And any notes, any thoughts, Murph, on where we are in college football? Oregon, number 1. Dylan Gabriel, where did he play? Oh, yeah, UCF. What did people think of him at UCF? Some people didn't even regard him as a guy who was playing football. Then he went to Oklahoma, and people thought, wow, he's pretty good. Now he's at Oregon, and people are like, wow, they're the best team in the country. So Dylan Gabriel, to those of us that knew you at UCF, I know you're doing you, boo, and proud of the work that you're doing. The team is 8-0. Undefeateds are Oregon, Penn State, Miami, BYU, Iowa State, Indiana, Pittsburgh, and Army. Thoughts, Murph?
Main thought I have, we talked about this. I was texting back and forth with you on Saturday afternoon. I was up at my cousin's house in their lake house in upstate New York, and we decided to watch the Navy Notre Dame game. Mm-hmm. If you did not watch that game, it wasn't great. Navy looked about as bad as a team can possibly look in a football game. It seemed as though every time they had the ball, they were turning it over. I think it was 3 fumbles in the first half, and then another one in the second half where they fumbled in their own end zone, and Notre Dame picked it up and scored a touchdown. Muffed punt. They just did not look good. And maybe it was, I don't think it was all Notre Dame, because Navy played one of the sloppiest football games I've ever seen. And it sucks because I was obviously rooting for them as a proud grandson of a World War II Navy vet. So I always root for Navy. And it was definitely disappointing to see that. But Notre Dame blew them out, so it's not surprising that they move back into the top 10. But for me, Vanderbilt's loss to Texas was seriously impressive.
Yeah. They
looked good. They kept it close. You knew they were going to fall out of the top 25 for losing the game, which, they were 25. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they still got top 25 votes. So they're still right there. But what I'm really looking forward to next week is the battle of number 3 and number 4, Penn State, Ohio State. That's the best game on the schedule next week. I don't know for sure, but I imagine College Game Day will be in Happy Valley. The game is at Penn State. It is not the whiteout, which I think is foolishly stupid. But I'll be rooting for Penn State. They're my home state team. Obviously, as you all know, I'm a Florida Gator fan, but I've always had a soft spot for Penn State. So I'll be rooting for Penn State, and I'm definitely hoping that they win, because if they win, they should surpass Georgia as the number 2 team in the nation. I don't think that'd put them up to number 1, because Oregon's got and also has a win over Ohio State. I think it was arguably a better win than what Penn State would be. But I want to see Penn State win that game. Penn State wins that game, they're going to the playoff without question. Penn State wins that game, they could very well match up with Oregon in the Big Ten championship. So that would be a very, very interesting matchup to decide the champion of the Big Ten. But that's definitely what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting to see 2 undefeated teams in Penn State and Oregon play for the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. And we'll see. I mean, Penn State's got a really good team this year. Their defense is really good. Drew Aller has looked great at quarterback for them. I'm excited to see what that team can do. I'm rooting for them. I would love to see them win a national championship. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But we'll see. James Franklin and that Nittany Lions squad look good. So I want to see Beaver Stadium absolutely packed. I know it's going to be. I'd love to go to that game, but it's probably very expensive to get tickets. So I don't think I'll be going to that one. But I'm looking forward to that one. That's gonna be. I mean, that's the best game on the schedule next week, without a doubt.
Yeah, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I think another game that people need to circle is the SMU Pitt game. SMU's undefeated, or SMU's got 1
2
loss.
undefeateds.
Yeah. SMU's won.
Wait, who did SMU lose to?
SMU lost to BYU. So.
Oh, okay.
SMU
all right, well, that's another undefeated team. Top 10 now.
Yeah. So you got.
What are they, 8?
SMU is. No, they're not. Let me.
I think BYU's up to 8 now. I think.
Yeah, BYU's higher, but so Pittsburgh's 7-0, SMU's 7-1. Big game. It's going to be at nighttime, so it's going to be this Saturday, and this Saturday, November 2nd. The game
at SMU or at Pitt.
The game's at SMU. It's on ACC Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and so that'll be a good one. The Penn State hosting Ohio State game is at noon, big noon, on Fox on Saturday, November 2nd, noon Eastern Time. So something good to see. Looking forward to it. There's some games in the middle of that.
Should be at 7 o'clock, and it should be the whiteout, but,
Well, this is what they do. So it's at the nooner. You better be ready for it. I'll be at the Dome, God willing, because Virginia Tech will be up against Syracuse. In the NFL schedule,
I'm not even going to mention Florida, Georgia, because Florida's going to get their butts kicked. But that's okay.
Florida, Georgia will be at Everbank at Jacksonville. It'll be the best game played in Everbank Stadium all season. And
the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So the Jaguars.
Oregon, Michigan, too.
Yeah. So the Jaguars.
That'll be fun.
I don't really care. Michigan's got 3 losses. I don't want to hear about it anymore. So, Oregon, I don't. I mean, every time I'm proven right, people are like, yeah, Dan.
Yeah, but watch. This will be the game Michigan wins.
Okay, and that's all well and good. They still got 3
That'd
losses.
be hilarious, actually.
They still got 3 losses.
Because when it's all said and done, if Michigan beats Oregon, Penn State will be the number 1 team if they beat Ohio State.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just weird, but whatever. I mean, Michigan, again, I have been proven over and over and over and over and over again my stance on the benefits to Notre Dame and Big Ten and how they don't back it up and the things that have happened within it. And, if you're allergic to facts, then keep sneezing. That's all I can say. So looking at where we are right now, the Jets found a way to lose to New England in New England 25-22. Jaguars came all the way back to lose to the Packers in regulation with less than 2 minutes to play, 30-27. Thoughts?
Jets season's over. I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, maybe Rodgers is back next year, maybe not, but the front office, coaching staff, everybody's going to be gone. There's no way Woody Johnson lets them run this back. They're 2-6. With losses to the Broncos, the Patriots,
yeah,
Steelers, okay, I'll give them that one. 49ers have not been as good, but you got blown out. I'm drawing a blank on the last two. They also lost to the Bills in a game that they probably should not have lost because of a field goal kicker and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Greg Zuerlein should be cut as of this morning. I love Greg the Leg. He's been great, but something's just off. They need a new kicker in here ASAP. If he is not gone this week, Jets fans are going to revolt. Because he is the reason you've lost 3 games. He missed 2 field goals against Buffalo. They lost by 3. He lost a field goal and an extra point on Sunday. He lost by 3. Steelers, okay. He missed kicks against the Steelers. Vikings, I believe he missed 2 field goals. And he lost by 6.
Yeah.
That's a problem. The Jets' kicking issue had been solved. Greg the Leg was great for the last 2 years, but he can't figure out how to kick a field goal right now. And I'm not saying he's the only reason that they're losing because the defense has been abysmal. How do you let the Patriots score 25 points? Especially after Drake May got hurt? Seriously?
Yeah.
It's the Patriots. They have 1 win, and you lost to them. I don't think I'm watching the game next week. I have no plan on watching Thursday Night Football this week. I know it's the Texans. I know it'd be interesting to watch CJ Stroud, but I don't feel like watching the game. I just don't. I'm gonna go out and do something else. I have no desire to watch this team anymore. They've given you no reason to watch them. It's insufferable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably feel the same way about the Jaguars, that they keep finding ways to lose, and you don't want to watch them anymore.
Yeah.
I will not watch them. I mean, I'm not going to watch the game on time. I say that, and I'm probably going to. I didn't watch the game this week because it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles were playing on CBS and in Pennsylvania. You're not going to get your team if the Steelers or the Eagles are on. But I'm done with this team. I'm done with this. I'm done with this regime. It's not Aaron Rodgers' fault, but he hasn't exactly played like the Aaron Rodgers we all know.
Yeah, he's a
Now,
part.
granted, he was coming off a major injury, but
He's a part.
I can't put this on Aaron Rodgers, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he comes back next year, it wouldn't surprise me. But they are going to clean house. Coaches gone, GM gone, front office, everybody gone. Woody Johnson's going to start from scratch. And then it's more Jets losing and more no playoffs, and they haven't been to the playoffs since I was 12.
Yeah.
I was 12 the last time they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I am sick of it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's why I'm glad the Mets made a deep run, because I can't stand this Jets team right now.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
I get it, and I understand it. So, I mean, Jacksonville on their side, they have played awful. And
Trevor's looked better, though, the last couple games.
Yeah. Well, I said they had a cultural problem in the first few weeks, and then Doug Peterson said in week 6 that they have a cultural problem. So I will echo the statement that I don't even have to be there to know my team. And that's where we are. There's not much to say about Jacksonville. They have a cultural problem. They need to fix the cultural problem. Maybe you should think about the people you let in the building and the people that you don't. So we'll see what happens with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to take one quick step aside. We'll be back with Sports Card Show and Tell right after this.
Hi, Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Speaking with you on a lot of things here today, and just want to let y'all know, folks, even though the Jets are struggling, the Jaguars are struggling, your team might be struggling, I want you to stay positive. I want you to stay positive. In the famous words of my grandmother, I said, Grandma, you watch the news and you look at the newspaper and you see all of this stuff and all of this negativity. How do you keep, how do you stay positive when you see all these bad things going on in the world? And she looked at me and she said, what's the alternative? So I'll say to you this right now, folks. Yeah, NIL's confusing. Yeah, the transfer portal's confusing. Yeah, collegiate athletics is in a place right now where we need to fix a lot of things that should have never been broken. Yes, the Jets struggle. Yes, the Jaguars struggle. But you're alive. Your feet hit the ground today in some way, shape, or form. And you got a chance to make a difference. So on this show, we are positive. On this show, we talk about the hard stuff. And life ain't always easy. And I can tell you wholeheartedly that the night I had last night, but I'm here. So stay strong, stay positive, stay together, and know that whatever you are fighting, whatever is bothering you today, you will get through it. You can get through it. I believe in you. I have faith in you. God is an awesome God. He goes before you. He guards your steps. He guides your path. And if you don't know what to ask God and you've never prayed before, I'm going to ask you to say two things to God. God, guide me toward what you have for me and guard me from what you don't. I promise you that will help you. With that being said, Murph, Sports Card Show and Tell, what you got?
Don't have a ton right now, and I've gotten a bunch of new stuff, but a lot of it's like you probably don't want to see that stuff. It's very repetitive, like cheap CJ Stroud stuff, but half of it is already gone. So, um, I'll start out with a guy who's been quietly having a very underrated season for the Seattle Seahawks. Nice little Ken Walker, clearly Donruss rated rookie auto.
Nice.
That is number 2175. A college national treasures, and his auto is beautiful. Numbered to 50 of former Oregon Duck, Justin Herbert.
Nice.
I'll save that one for the end. I opened a box of Donruss Elite, one of the first boxes that is out of the 2024 rookies. And we pulled literally the very first card, a green disco of J.J. McCarthy.
Very nice.
I thought you would appreciate that one. That was getting sent off for grading here shortly. Another one you would appreciate, again, going to be sent off for grading here shortly. I opened one of those Costco boxes of a Donruss 2024 Donruss this year, yesterday. Didn't hit any of the big quarterbacks, but we did hit a green press proof of Bo Nix.
Nice.
Had a nice game yesterday, so that'll be a nice little card to get in there. And it's not base, so that helps. I then made a trade with somebody and picked up a big card that is about to get sent off for grading. I traded a Kobe rookie in order to get it that I was into for $120. This guy wanted $175 for this card, and I got it for a card that was valued about the same, but I only paid $120 for it. And it is a rookies and stars of Patrick Mahomes.
Very nice.
If this is a 10, this is a $400 plus card, which would turn $120 or $140 in this case into about $400 and change. Then we've got, this is a cool card. This is a select disco of Joe Burrow. That is a rookie. It's PSA 10. I don't remember if I showed this yet or not, but I got this last week. It's a really nice copy too. Really nice eye appeal. It's an SGC 4 1955 Hank Aaron.
Very cool.
Beautiful looking card.
I like that.
Eye appeal is phenomenal on this thing. Centering is really, really good. And then the last one I'll show you, I'm debating whether or not I want to grade this because it actually looks like it could get a PSA 9 or a BGS 9.5. It is an RPA Panini 1. There's two separate patches. One's a 3-color, one's a 2-color. Numbered to 99 of Joe Burrow, who I think is one of the best buys in the sports card hobby right now. This card is just sweet. I actually traded for this. I traded a good amount of stuff in for this. I can actually tell you exactly what I traded for it. I traded a Jamar Chase rookie ticket RPA. I had bought a CJ Stroud Topps Composite RPA, which was in this deal. Saquon National Treasures RPA, a purple shock CJ Stroud, and a red, white, and blue prism Joe Burrow rookie. So I traded those 5 cards for this one card. So I did okay. I think I did at least.
Yeah, no, you did well.
What do you got?
I got one thing.
What do you got hiding in there?
I have one thing. And it is from the trading card world. It is from my New York City dealings these last 2 weeks. It is already certified on the back by SWAU, which certifies the autographs from like actors and actresses and all that good stuff.
This from Comic-Con?
Yeah. So this is a card that I pulled in a pack or in a box that my older brother Joey got for me. It's an Avengers box from Target. It's Upper Deck Allure, and it is an Avengers gold refractor of Thanos. It says Josh Brolin as Thanos on the card, and Josh Brolin signed it, his name, Thanos under it, and then it says Josh Brolin as Thanos.
That's sick. So did you get that signed at Comic-Con?
Yeah, so it is certified right here on the back of the card.
I hope they put that on the top on the did they put that on the actual card?
Yeah, they have to. So
okay.
So it's on the card.
Oh, it's not like you're probably selling that card anytime soon anyway, so.
Right. So this is
That's cool.
Josh Brolin, Thanos, Josh Brolin, Thanos, gold card, gold
Is it
refractor,
numbered?
gold plated here, and gold on him, and then gold underneath. It is not a numbered card, but yeah. So it's gold on gold on gold.
That's sweet. I've never really been like the biggest fan of like the superhero movies, but I can appreciate Thanos.
Yeah, so that's a really cool card, and it's actually gonna go
right there.
So
there you go.
With that being said, Murph, as always, I appreciate your time, your energy, and we'll see what happens with the World Series continues today. We will obviously be covering the World Series as we go. Sean Peak, head coach of Bryan and Stratton Syracuse baseball program, going into year number 3, and a big-time Yankee fan. He joins us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Papa Joe joins me on Thursday morning. So we'll either know that the series is continuing or we'll know that it isn't by Thursday. So we shall see, but Papa Joe will be talking about it. Sean Peak will be talking about it. Murph and I spoke about it today. Plenty of great stuff coming up this week in so many sectors of the sports and life components that we do here on the show. As always, I appreciate you, Murph, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Yes, sir.
So that coming from Murph one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're going to take a quick step aside. We're going to wrap it up right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. And you can find all different things at GG Cards and Breaks, Disney, Lorcana, as well as finding Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, hockey, baseball, football, basketball, soccer, and more while supplies last at GG Cards and Breaks. They have singles, they have packs, they have boxes, they have graded cards, and they're the only place I know that has every MLB, NBA, and NFL team with their own box that they've assembled, putting together special, awesome cards, not just basic cards. You can find all different things in there. You can find autos, numbered cards, rookie cards, cards that have, a piece of a jersey and whatnot. So you can find those patch cards. A lot of great things inside of those boxes and a lot of attention to detail to have 92 franchises on their back wall. So make sure you go and check them out today. I can't thank them enough for the work that they do. Sports cards just makes you feel like a kid. It's such a fun thing, and there's so many memories that come from it. I hope you are open to sharing one today. And when you are, I hope you open up your pack and your box from GG Cards and Breaks. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. I thank you for watching and listening on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our incredible partners, Brooklyn Pickle down on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course. And of course, all of our partners in Central and Upstate New York. Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Servomation, Mother's Cupboard, Avicoli's, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, K9 Campground Dog Boarding, Fire Pit Barbecue and Saloon, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Great Lakes Honda City, Bryan's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton Syracuse Bobcats, and the Binghamton University Bearcats. You could find the Dolphins every Wednesday at Dolphin Time at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively here on Wake Up Call. You can find the Bearcats during Bearcat Time exclusively Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can find them all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the Lemoyne playlist, the BSU Syracuse, and the Binghamton playlist. You can also find them all on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. On your Bobcats, go to Syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And for Binghamton, go to BinghamtonBearcats.com. With that being said, I hope you all have a terrific day. Stay safe. Thanks to Murph. Thanks to you. And if I can impart any type of knowledge and wisdom on you, don't worry. Be around the people that want to be around you. You know, I think so many of us want people to be around us that don't want to be around us. So, don't force a square peg into a round hole. Be good to people. Give all you got. And if it ain't enough for somebody, it doesn't mean you ain't enough. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. God bless, no stress, do your best. Have a wonderful day.